name is Ahlzadeh, and I've been working for myself since I'm 23 years old. My background, I started a painting company when I was 23 years old. Transitioned that into buying houses full time back in 2000. But we did a lot of big commercial projects in Philadelphia, so I learned a lot about project management dealing with these big GCs in Philly. Like, you know, you had to dot every I and cross every T just to get paid over there. So I developed a good system for project management, you know, transitioning into flipping houses. So I can't use all the commercial principles because all these little subcontractors won't be able to handle all the paperwork. It just won't work right. And they can barely do the paperwork I need them to do now. So I'm sure all of you guys in the room understand that. So tonight I'm going to talk about project management. I'm going to demonstrate an application that I use, and I'll show you a video of the project I'm running right now. So that's a little bit about my background and, you know, where I come from. Okay. So as far as project management, I guess, can everybody hear me okay? Because I'm not getting any audio back. Is everybody hearing me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right, great. So we can take questions as we go. If anybody has questions, I don't know how we do that, but just let me know, and I'll answer your questions for you. I've been flipping houses for about 17 years now. When the market is real hot up here right now, I'm not sure about what's going on down there. I may take a little sabbatical and focus more on project management, work on my real estate licenses, and wholesale. It's a really good time to wholesale right now because there's so many buyers out there, and you have a lot of people who are actually overpaying for stuff. But that's, you know, that's up to them what they pay for it. So as far as project management, I have a sheet of paper on my left-hand side here that I'm going to, with some bullet point notes that I'm going to go through and how I run projects. And then I'll demonstrate the application that I use, and I'll show you a video of a project I'm running right now, okay? Okay, so the first thing I'd like to talk to everybody about, you put a house under contract, and a lot of people kind of wait till they close to start getting all their construction bids in and everything like that. The first thing you should start doing when you get a house under contract is start calling your subs. So if I get a house under contract tomorrow, I'm calling all my subcontractors up and asking them what is their lead time. I don't know about what's going on down there, but in Philadelphia and South Jersey, it's a nightmare trying to get guys lined up and enough time to do your project because they're all so busy. Construction up here is booming through the roof. Philadelphia is on fire with new construction, high-rise buildings. South Jersey, there's a lot of flippers going on over here. So I always call them up and I go, how far out are you right now? And they may say, Dave, I'm 2 weeks out, I'm 3 weeks out, I'm 4 weeks out, whatever it is, they tell me that. I say, okay, I just put a house under contract, put me on your radar. I don't care. I don't set a date when I just want to know I have a project from them coming up and I want to get in their head. Because if you wait to the last minute to call these guys, you're going to be screwed. They're all too busy right now. Like I said, I don't know what's going on down there, but that's what's going on up here. So once I put it on the contract and I start talking to these guys, my next thing, while I'm under contract, I don't wait till I close. I'm going to start walking the house with subs, or if I need to, start getting proposals in from these guys to get some pricing on all the different tasks that we need to do. I'd rather do that up front. That way, when I close on the property, I can start the construction quicker. And that way, everybody's I'm not being delayed on starting, because I don't know about down there, but permits up here are a pain in the balls. I may curse a little bit. If I do, you know, can't help it. It's a pain in the balls, the permitting process up here, Philadelphia and South Jersey. Jersey has 20 days just to approve your permit. I don't know, you know, down there in Philadelphia is different. They make up their own rules as things go. So that's the first two things I like to do once I get a house under contract as far as managing the project. Okay, so the next thing I'll do, once I get all my paperwork in, and I use a spreadsheet to check all my all the numbers I put next to, so I compare what I estimated, because I can estimate the whole project myself. So I'll compare what I estimated to what the guys are coming in, and the only number I care about is the number at the bottom. So if I figured $70,000 for rehab at the bottom of my estimate, I look at the line items going down on all my subs. If I don't exceed $70,000, I don't care if I match up perfectly. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying there without demonstrating it. It's a spreadsheet that I use. It just compares everything. I just kind of learned that from the commercial world. That's what they do. So the first thing I'm going to do after that step, once I close, as far as project management. I want to get the demolition and clean out done. Most of the houses that I buy are direct from homeowners. I don't really buy much out of the MLS. I feel it's way overpriced. So if I buy it from a homeowner, it's usually full of crap for the last 40 or 50 years that they've accumulated. I pretty much know those numbers. I can call my clean out guy and say, Sean, I got to get this cleaned out. He goes, Dave, it's going to be, $2,500 or whatever it is, $1,000, whatever that number is. So once I get all that clean out and demolition done, then I'm going to revisit my scope of work. Because usually what happens is after I do all that, I see things that I couldn't see before, and I got to adjust my scope and maybe adjust my numbers up or down depending on, what I find once I do the demolition. So I'll do a walkthrough myself. I don't really need to get the subs back out there. I can call them on the phone and explain to them, say, hey, this is what I found. What do we got to do? Do we need to adjust? What do you want? How do you want to handle it? And they usually say, no problem, Dave. This is what we'll do. Or I'll FaceTime them. I'm a big FaceTimer. If the subcontractors have a Apple phone, I'll FaceTime them and show them what we got to do in there. And that saves everybody, some multiple trips going out that way and, wasting everybody's time for something small. But if it's a larger item, then I'll bring them out. We'll look at it, get a game plan, and, reconfigure all that stuff there. Okay. 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 I don't know what you guys use for accounting. I'm a Quickbooks guy. I have everything set up as memorized transactions in Quickbooks. It's very easy to track all your costs to project management. I can even enter all my title sheet or my HUD sheet costs. I know every penny every week on every job that I'm doing when I'm running my own rehab projects. When I'm project managing for someone else, I can't handle the accounting because I don't handle the money. I just approve the applications for payment. I send it over to the owner, and the owner cuts the checks directly to the subcontractors. So I have two separate things going on at the same time: project management for other investors and project management for my own houses. But the system's still the same except for the accounting. I can't do their accounting for them I have no other way to know how to do it but Quickbooks. I've been using it for 30 years. And I have a good system in place already for that. Now I'll help them set up their Quickbooks for that if they didn't get it already started or, whatever. We can, that helps out a lot. But you need some kind of accounting management software. I don't care if it's a spreadsheet. You need to know where you are at all times on your project. I know people come up to me. Oh, just to back up for a second, there's a group up here called South Jersey Investors. It's about a 600, 700 member group. It's a local REIA up here. I run the renovation subgroup for them. So once a month I have a meeting at a diner down in South Jersey. So I've been running that meeting for about 7 years now. And what happens is everybody comes to me with their issues. And one of their issues is they don't know where they are during the course of the project, and they budget $70,000 and they're at 80 or 90 by the end of it, and they don't know it. That's because they have no way to track their income and expenses, mainly their expenses during the course of the project, because they don't get any income until the house sells. So I get calls from all kinds of people every week with issues, and I'll even go out to a house and, tell them what I think, give them my opinion on that kind of stuff. But the two common things are they're over budget and the contractors are taking it to them. So one thing I want to say about contractors, and I can go on for hours about contractors. I'm sure everybody in that room could too. There's one golden rule when it comes to contractors. I don't know if if you guys want to guess what that is. I don't know if I can hear you or not, but can anybody tell me what the golden rule is for contractors?
They all have liars. Get it in writing.
What?
They all have a shelf life. They're all liars.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's all true. But for me, the golden rule is hold the money. I don't give a fuck what they want. You got to hold the money. That's the only thing that motivates these guys to do anything. My background, when I did big commercial painting projects, I couldn't even submit an invoice for payment for the first 30 days, and I couldn't get paid for 30 days. So I didn't see a draw until 60 days. Now, I can't do that to these guys. We had the money to do it. We can carry the job. It was fine. I mean, we ran into situations here or there where we couldn't make payroll sometimes, and it's big construction. These big construction companies like trying to squash little guys. So the number one rule is hold the money, and that's done with what's called a draw schedule. I don't know if you're all familiar with a draw schedule. These guys want to do a third, and a third. That's old school retail homeowner bullshit. You don't do a third and a third and a third. My spreadsheet acts as a draw schedule. Okay, so for each task, if the HVAC is a $12,000 project, I want to know what your rough-in amount you want. I want to know if you need an intermediate draw, or I want to know what the final draw. All these draws do not get paid until after inspections. Let's talk about deposits for a second. This is another thing that drives me crazy. I don't know why some of these subcontractors don't have a few bucks to put up to grab the ductwork they need to start the project. It's not a lot of money. They need to be able to at least start it. And they can ask me, they can ask me for a draw anytime they want, but I only pay for work that's completed. This is a big, big issue up here, especially with new investors. I don't know if there's any new investors in the room or not, but it's a big issue. I get calls about this all the time. Contractor took my money, blah, 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 blah. I've been preaching this for 7 years at these meetings. Don't give them a lot of money. Your best option is this. You have a draw schedule. I tell the contractors, I'd rather cut you a bunch of little checks than big checks. I'll cut you as many checks as you need once a week. So I like to pay frequently to keep these guys cash flowing, but I'd rather cut small checks because one time I was so busy. I had, a lot of projects going. This was years ago, and I got burnt for money. I had to sue the guy. I got a lien on him. I never saw a freaking penny. You're not going to win a judgment on these guys. Just not going to happen. Most of them don't have any money. The little subs. So you need to set up a draw schedule, and you need to educate these guys sometimes because they don't understand even what a draw schedule is. They're used to this third, and third crap. That's bull. You got to get away from that. If they want a deposit, say, okay, I'll give you $1,000 the morning you show up with stuff on the job, and give it to them on the job. If they don't have materials money, pay the material guy directly. Try not to give them any money until they're on the site, because I don't know how many people are in this room. It's hard to tell. But at one point, if you're doing this long enough, you're going to get scared from some money from hese guys. I haven't happened to me in a long time because I learned my lesson years and years ago. But this is a big, big issue, and that's why I'm harping it. So hold the money. Don't believe anything they say. And yes, get everything in writing. So all my paperwork is saved as a Word document on my computer. I can pull a contract up in about 5 minutes, fill in the blanks, put it in something called DocuSign, send it to all parties, whether it's my job or not, get it signed and back in my Dropbox within, a day, whenever the contractors can get there to sign it. So for those of you guys who are not using DocuSign or some kind of electronic signature, it works very well. And I just kind of recently incorporated this into my, system with dealing with other owners I'm managing for. Any questions up to this point?
No, good.
Everybody's good? Okay, good. Okay, great. Let me get a drink. Okay.
It's Philly Wooders.
This is bottled water, man. You hurt?
Schuylkill.
You getting on Philly a lot there, Mark. What's up with that?
Schuylkill, yeah.
That's why the rolls are so good. Schuylkill River water. Okay. Here we go. We went over QuickBooks, went over that. One of the things that I do, I'm not a volume guy. I do less projects when I'm doing my own, and I'd rather do less projects and make more money. So when I'm running, no matter what jobs I'm running, if I'm running 2 or 3 projects at a time, I don't like to run a lot. I go to every job every day. I get pushback on this from some of the experienced guys, but it doesn't take me that long to go there, see what's going on, put the fires out, if any, make a few course corrections. I find that it keeps my jobs going a little straighter, and I can get them done, a little sooner to get them on the market. That's just me. You don't have to go there every day. Some of you guys may have systems where it works out well for you. But I don't know, I'm a little bit of a control freak, I guess, just being in construction so long. I go every day to my job sites. The other thing a lot of guys do not do well, and mainly rookies, I don't know who we have in the room here, but they don't coordinate the subs in the right order. I don't know how many people notice that when you deal with some rookies. They got everybody out of order. And it's very important for your job to go smooth and faster that you don't put the electrician in before the HVAC guy or anything like that. Because I like to go ductwork, plumbing, electric, sprinkler, fire. That's how I like to do it because it just works good for me. Insulation, you got to get all your inspections, all that kind of stuff. So you got to learn to coordinate your subs in the right order. Maybe that can be another meeting these guys can do. I'm not going to go into all those details right now, but it's a very important process and project management. So one of the other things I always do once I get the initial paperwork from my subcontractors, which is like pulling teeth nowadays, trying to get them to send some paperwork over, I like to walk the job with them before we start with the paperwork in hand and double check the scope of work, because most of the time the issues on a job site is what's included and what's not included. And even then, when you're thorough as you think you can be, you still miss stuff. But I try to keep it to a minimal. I don't want to miss big items. I don't miss, too many line items, because then it costs too much money. So I walk through the site. We go through all his paperwork, and I'll start making hand notes if we need to make any changes to make sure the scope is correct. The more time you spend on your scope, the less headaches you're going to have during the course of the project. It's a big issue for a lot of people up this way. I actually have to give them my scope paperwork. I have a whole preset scope that these guys get when I send the proposal out. It's just kind of fill in the blank, another fill in the blanks thing to save myself some time. Okay, then we're going to get into we meet subs before awarding a project, and somebody said it already. Put everything in writing. I got to have, I'm a paperwork nut because of my background. My background's in commercial. And like I said, they are paperwork junkies, those guys. The contracts we used to sign, they would be this thick to do a paint job. I can't do that to these guys. It's a 2-page contract and I attach their proposal to my contract and make it part of that document. And for those of you guys who are using blueprints, if you're using them, every plan page and the date of that plan page should be in your contract. So part of the scope of work is what this guy wrote down on his proposal and whatever the blueprints say. So in other words, you have an A1.01 dated March 15th, 2017, A1.02 dated March 15th, 2017. All those plan pages with the dates need to be in your contract. That ties him to your blueprints also, besides his scope of work. Just a little tidbit. That's something you guys need to do. I don't know how many people are working with blueprints, but I'm working with them every day right now. We've got to get everything in writing. So we get insurance certificates. We get W-9s. Is everybody there getting insurance certificates from everyone? That's a question. You guys getting insurance certificates down there?
Yeah.
Everybody gets them?
No, some people are lazy and they don't get them, which is a mistake. That's why we got you talking, Dave.
You should be also named as additional insured. Okay. So there's a bottom little block at the bottom of the insurance certificate. It says additional insured. You put the owner there and all the contact information, and that's an extra protection for the owner. Okay. W-9s for 1099s, insurance certificates, proposed executed agreements. All that paperwork goes into play for whatever project I'm doing, and make sure it's dated the right day, it's signed, and all my agreements have deadlines on them. Here's another issue that drives me fucking nuts. People tell me they're doing rehabs for 6 months or something like that. Now, granted, there's probably some rehabs that will go that long. You have to have a start date and completion date in your paperwork. Now, most of the time, they're not going to meet it. Okay, it's okay. But if we're only off a little bit, that's fine with me. If there's weather delays, that's fine with me. You'll see how I handle that on my project management app when we get to that shortly. But you need to have start date and finish dates for the subcontractors. It just, I don't know, it's just like a mindset. And you have to set, and I also, in the project management app that I use, I set a Gantt chart calendar up. I don't know if everybody knows what that is. But it's a guide for me to guess, or not guess, but set up who's got to be in when. I just don't go willy-nilly, like trying to figure out who's going where. It's a schedule. I put a schedule up. Do I make adjustments as we go? Absolutely, I make adjustments. You have to. Stuff happens on construction sites. There's nothing you can do about all of it, but I'm pretty good at getting these things done in a timely manner. That's why people hire me to do them. I think the fastest one I probably ever did was one of my projects in North Philly. It was, about 20 days, and it was a big, pretty decent sized project. We got it done, turned it around. I may have been doing some little punch list items while it was on the market, but nothing crazy. And I've had projects last 4 months. It all depends, how much money we're spending. The projects I'm doing now that you guys will see a little video of, these buildings each are about $350,000 worth of construction, and there's 12 or 13 buildings that we're doing on that block alone, and there's another block we're doing. All right, let me stay on course here. So we put everything in writing. We got insurance certificates. You got to pay according to a draw schedule. We touched base on all that. Okay, it's very, very important. Sometimes you have to negotiate with these guys. I just did it today with a plumber about rough-in, and they don't get full payments until their inspections are passed. So if the plumber wants $12,000 for a rough-in project and he doesn't have inspection passed, but he has all the work completed, I'll give him $6,000. Here's $6,000. Once your project's inspected, the rough-in's passed, I'll give you the additional $6,000 as completed rough-in draw. But you got to hold some stuff over the head to motivate them to do something, because otherwise, if they get ahead of you, you're done. They got you by the balls, and they're going to come and go as they please. So the goal is not to let them get ahead of you with money. Okay? The other thing I do is they have to, in order to get paid, they need to have certain things. They need to have a W-9 in. They need to have an insurance certificate in. And they need to invoice me for each draw. And one of the reasons I wanted an invoice, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I really started harping on it was, I don't know if you guys remember, back when the market crashed a little bit, which was probably 2007, 2008, 2009, which, by the way, is when I made the most money because nobody else was doing it. It was great back then. I'd like to go back to that. The banks were getting done these houses fast, putting them under contract, and banks would see what I paid for it and then what I'm trying to resell it for. They wanted receipts for all the work that was done. Fortunately, I always got invoices and I scanned them all in or on my computer, but a lot of people were getting jammed up, scrambling around, trying to get invoices. So invoices is also, if there's ever an issue between you and the contractor, you have proof of paperwork. This guy said he did this work, and it's not done right, or it's, whatever. But just get an invoice, put it in your system, whatever your accounting system is, and then send them their draw out. That's an important thing for me. They know they can't get paid without an invoice. The other thing you want to do before you release a check, so the process for me when I'm working for an owner, they invoice me the week before, no later than Thursday, and then I will take their invoice out to the job site and walk it. And I'm comparing what's on their invoice to the amount of work that they completed. Because I don't want them invoicing for work that's not done. And believe me, they try and do it here and there. So I compare it. I get the invoice. I'm out there. I walk the job. Once I sign off on it, I shoot it over to the owner, or if it's my own project, approved for payment, and then they'll release a check the following Thursday. So it's a 1-week turnaround time. Everybody gets the checks get cut every Thursday. I got too much going on. I can't be a check factory. These guys want to get paid Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It just doesn't work like that. There's too much going on over there. So you can cut checks once a week. If you're doing like 1 or 2 projects, and you want to help a guy out with some cash flow, that's fine too. I don't mind you cutting a few more checks if you need to. Just remember, cut them frequently and cut them smaller, and that's better than giving them big chunks of money. And that seems to keep these guys, they don't mind doing it that way. A lot of the subcontractors up here, they rather do it like that because they know I'm not going to give them a large sum of money. So if the invoice is not accurate, I'll call them up and say, "Yo, you have to do this, this, and this. You're missing some things here that aren't complete." And there's a line that I use, and they hate it, but this is what I use. I ask them, "Are you're done or my done?" So there's 2 different dones. These guys say they're done, but to me, if you got 1 nail to hammer in, you're not done. I want you to be done. Because what happens is they start leaving loose ends, and by the end of the job, there's 2 days worth of loose ends that need to get done. It's just too much to do. You're trying to get the house on the market. So it has to be my done, invoice in, check gets cut, everybody's happy. Okay? And then we're due, and I talked about what's the cost of the project while it progresses. So I touched base on that earlier. I would just want to go over that a little bit. I have two ways of doing it. I use my spreadsheet and I use Quickbooks. So just about every day, I know where I'm at money-wise, and I'm also projected out where I'm heading. So if I can see I'm getting kind of tight on my rehab budget. So if I figured 80 grand for a rehab, and I'm looking at the projection I got, I'm like, okay, I'm getting tight. I got to find somewhere to cut back a little bit. Or if I'm looking fat, I'll throw some extra sizzle features into the property to help sell it. So that's kind of, one way to watch your money. I don't know what do you guys all use any kind of accounting software down there? Like, what's everybody using? Quickbooks? Quickbooks. Okay, that works good. Quickbooks, you want to set up memorized transactions, and I use the Contractor edition because it has a lot more reports there that, that help me track everything. All right, so right now I'm going to show you a quick video of the project I'm running over in Philly, and make sure I got it right here. Give me a second. Application. Boom. Photos. There it is. See if this works. Okay, can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to narrate this because I don't think the audio is going to come through that I did today, okay? So starting with that brick building next to the blue building, that one has not gotten approved yet. And the one where you see next to the scaffolding, the owner doesn't own that one. It's a barber shop who's holding out. He's a real pain in the balls. But anyway, here we go.
So this is my project now.
So we're scrolling down. This is 12 buildings and 13 addresses. And they're all at different phases. Some are getting demoed. Some are getting constrained. Some have interior work going on. The red and blue one at the very end are done and rented. The one next to it's under contract. They're all different phases there. And every one of these buildings are collapsed on the inside. It's very difficult demolition. So we're doing demolition between two buildings. It's a real pain in the ass. But we're getting there with them. There's a lot of city holdups. 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. There's a lot of city holdup with that there. Trying to get approvals because of the demolition a couple of years ago. A building collapsed and they just revamped their whole system. It's a real big pain in the ass to get anything done like that. So that's a project I'm currently running right now. We have that block. There's another block down the street, and there's some infills all around the city this guy wants to get done. And I spend probably with this project management app, about 4 hours a day on that. It's not, because I also do my other stuff, but it doesn't take me too long to run everything. And it's aggravating like everything else. You guys know the deal. I don't have to get all out with you. Now, I'm going to show you a project management app that I use. It really helps me keep everything organized, covers the owner's ass. If anybody ever, if a lawsuit pops up or anything like that, it shows rough in what we did. I just kind of cover his ass. So let me bring this up and I'll go through this. I think we only got about 10 minutes left or so. Okay. It's called BaseCamp. Some of you may have heard of it, but it works very good for me. What's that?
Is it BaseCamp.com or how do you find it?
Yeah. Just search BaseCamp.
Okay.
It'll come up. And don't use BaseCamp 3. Use BaseCamp 2.
All right.
Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to make it big. All right, everything. All right, 1 second. All right, everything good?
Yes.
You can see it. Okay. So here you go. Here's the addresses that I'm working on right now. 6040. I don't need to read them all out, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oakland's done. I got to just archive that. 5, 6. And there's some duplicated down here. There's a total of about 6 buildings running right now, I guess. And then a lot of them, the other ones are in planning stages, so they're in here too so I can keep track of everything. So let me start from the beginning. I'm going to open up this project right here, 6040 Market Street. This is an active project that right now we're doing the interior fit out portion of the project. Right now the electricians are in there, the plumber's done, HVAC's done, doing some miscellaneous soffit work. And then in here I schedule all the guys. So I'll do that first. And you can also, let me just go right to here real quick. Whoever you want to put on here, who you want to get emails or access to this, I can put people on my team. People who you don't want to see everything, you go put them on the client. And there's a list of everybody, subs, owners, contractors, whoever, who I can communicate with through this app. And it's very simple to do, okay? I don't really put everybody in here because I don't want them to see everything that's in here. Some of it's none of their business, okay? So let's go back to this. So basically, here's the events, and this is where I'll do like a schedule. So as you can see, and I can move these around. So every tradesman gets scheduled in. And I'm doing this for all these different buildings. So I have to have some idea what everybody's going when, because everybody needs lead time, because everybody's so busy. Like the sprinkler guy, I called him today. He can't get in until 25th. I think I got him started on the 25th. Yes. Fire roughs on the 21st. And I can move this very easily. So if I need to move the electrical guy a little bit, I just go, yes. I can move him to wherever I want to move him to. He may, throw me out of whack a little bit. He's in pretty good shape. I forget when he started, but I got it logged in there. So I'll also put important dates in here. So I'll put dates that we picked up permits, so I know when we got them. I'll put dates in here that say this is when the permits got submitted, so these guys can't bullshit me on when they put the permits in. Like I put a lot of dates in here. I put a lot of things that are going on in here. When the project may have started. If a guy picked up something, this one says gave Frank the plumber the plans. The little stuff like that. So I know, these guys are always, trying to get around you and break your balls, and the deal. So that's the one thing that works. But every day when I go here, you can see it says project update. So I go into this little thing. It says post new messages. So I pick this up every day. This will say Wednesday, 9. What's today? The 13th? 13-17. Okay. Then I'll put down here what time I'm on site. It'll say 9 a.m. That's 0. 9 a.m. I'll put the weather in. I'll say sunny. And if it's cold out, I'll put the degrees in there. There's a reason why I do that, because certain materials you need to deal with, and maybe they shouldn't be being installed in degrees. If something fails down the road, I can look back and go, hey, I can say, well, you were there that day, you weren't there that day. It says 9 a.m. and sunny. Then I'll proceed to log every tradesman in on this building. So I'll go like this. I'll go 2 carpenters doing soffits on 2nd floor. So the owner gets an update. I'll just go down the whole list of all the different guys in there. I don't get real detail. I just want to know who's there, what day they're there, and what they're doing. That's it. Then if you go down here, before I post a message, it gives you options who I want to send it to. I can send it to all 14 people. I can choose who I want to send it to, or I don't have to send it to anyone. I do this for every project, every day when I go there. It's very simple to do. It's quick, and it gives you a record. I will take, progress photos. Let me see if I can cancel this out. I don't really need to post this. Go like that. I didn't save it. So today is the 13th. Let's see what I got. This was today on this project. I was taking a picture of the exhaust installed. I wanted to let them know. I wanted to make sure we had pictures of that. So and I still have to add a couple guys in. A couple guys showed up later. I haven't added them in yet. There's 2 guys doing softening work in there, but the HVAC guy puts this duct work in for me. One's the dryer exhaust, and one's the exhaust fan for the bathroom. That's all the framing. That's all the pecs. I have proof of everything that we did behind the walls. If a city inspector walks in, I can show them pictures, say, hey, this is what we did. I mean, we still have to do some fire penetration work. The insulation guy will take care of all that stuff when he comes in. So I take progress photos. I put some blurbs in there as to what needs to get done and what's being done, what needs to get done, and that will go into my to-dos. So if I go over to-dos, I could add a to-do with anybody, paint rear wall, and I can assign it to whatever tradesman I want, whatever tradesman's in here that needs to do the project. He will get an email saying, hey, you need to do this. Now, the issue is getting these tradesmen to accept my invitation sometimes to do this, but I kind of give them a nudge. I said, listen, it's going to save you a lot of time, me a lot of time, and it's a good way to keep track of what we're doing. So that's a to-do list I can form for any tradesman. I will also put my punch list in here. So if I want to add a to-do list, I just go like this. I'll go electrical punch list, and then I'll start making a list of what needs to get done. You know, add in there, start, you know, it's very simple to do. This thing covers my ass every day and makes my life way easier. And that way I don't have to remember a lot of stuff. You can add in text documents. So if you want to take some notes, this is where I always add in where all the plan pages are. As I was saying to you guys earlier, I want to know all the plan pages so I can add them in. Because I go back to my office and put a contract together. I need this information to put in the contract. I'll also put finished material in here. So in other words, if the owner's duplicating something down the block, I want to know what faucet we put in so we can duplicate it going all the way down the block. I'll put that in there also. So I'll put finished materials. I'll put sometimes a list of subs in there who was on the project for the owner and their phone numbers. And then the plan pages and whatever else I need to put in there. There's no rules. I just use it for whatever I got to use it. And sometimes I'm a little behind on it. I'll catch up to it. You got, the other good feature for this thing is you can forward emails here. So if you got some important emails that you need to get into this BaseCamp, hold on a second. There's a way to do that, and it's down here at the bottom, I think. Email content to this project. So they'll give you a link, creating documents, start discussion, forward emails to BaseCamp. I'll click here. I'll take this, I'll copy and paste this thing into my email browser, whatever you guys are using, and any email I want will go in here to keep track of certain important emails that I'm dealing with. I don't do it all the time because I have a system on my computer, but something I feel needs to go into this project, I will put it in there, and I got a record of that also. So basically, this is a historical record of the project, when it started, who did what when, and it saves me a lot of time and headache. And you don't have to, you can buy like a 10 project package. I need it unlimited. It's like $50 a month for what I do, but you don't need to pay that much. I think there might be a free version. You might be able to get as little as $10 a month. Any questions on that software there?
Not now, Dave. All right, well.
Awesome stuff.
Thank you, Dave.
Good.